All right, welcome everyone. Another podcast, very special guest and good friend, Joe Hachem over in Australia. How's it going, Joe?
PBF, my man.
It's
good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's good to hear you. We had a little technical difficulty. I don't know. Australia internet's a little funky, but I think it might have been on our end. So I hope you guys can hear well at home. And just to clear it up, Joe, great name. My son was named Joseph as well. And, like I said, like it wasn't directly off of you, but it was, I was thinking of people I know and Joe, it was a bonus. It was like a helper.
I'll still take some of the credit.
Yeah.
No, cheers.
Let's give it. All right. So a lot of you at home will know Joe from winning the main event in 2005, World Series of Main Event, actually defeating Steve Danneman, who still does my taxes. Funny enough, I've been using him.
That's hilarious.
So shout out to Danneman. But I want to first dive in a bit towards the earlier stages. Tell us about yourself a little bit, where you grew up. Just give us a little background on you, and then we'll kind of dive into the poker and other stuff. But give me Joseph Hachem growing up as a kid. Where were you born? When did you move to Australia? Give us a little bit of background.
So I guess the short version is we moved to Australia in 1972 when I was 6 years old. We borrowed money from the church for the plane ticket to come out here, and that was it was 3 years before the civil war broke out in Lebanon. We were motivated by family because my grandparents passed away and 3/4 of the family was already out here, so we just jumped on a plane and came and joined them. And to be honest, the best, luckiest move of my life. Like, God knows what would have happened to my family in Lebanon if we were there when the civil war broke out. Yeah, and rightfully so, I consider myself more Australian than Lebanese. So as much as I love my Lebanese heritage and respect that, Australia has been a great country. I call it mine openly. So short version, eldest of 3 sons, started working at the age of 7, my first part-time job, crushing boxes for the local pharmacy, getting paid $2 an hour. So I had responsibility on my shoulders from a young age. Anyway, primary school, high school, college, marriage, when I was 23, graduated as a chiropractor, popped out 4 kids like M&Ms, one after another.
Wow. And
started my first game of poker was around 13. The folks used to play on special holidays with each other, and we used to sit back and watch. And then 13, we all got the courage to go, okay, let's have our own little game, and basically played since then.
Was it no limit back then when you were 13 years old?
Oh no, it was like actually a limit version of short deck poker, a short deck hold'em.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah,
are you claiming
it wasn't short deck? It was street by street.
Was this when it originated? Hey? Was this the origination of short deck? We didn't even know it back then.
Probably, I don't know. But short deck, or what we call strip deck poker, has been around for a long time, a lot before short deck no limit. This was a 5th limit game, and it was 7s up. That's where I started, and played some 5 cards. Some 5 cards started early on. In the late 90s. Discovered Hold'em and fell in love with the movie Rounders, as we all did.
Yep. And
then by 2000, I had to give up being a chiropractor because my hands, I don't know, I developed some stupid condition. They still don't know really what it is, but it's not progressive. So I've still got it, but it doesn't get any worse. It doesn't get any better. Whatever. I just can't use my fingers to poke with anything. Sometimes when I'm riffling chips, I've got to stop.
Is that something? Does that affect your texting? Like, do you think this could be something later in life? I'm worried my thumbs are gonna fall off at some point. But does that bother you?
No, not really. I don't text as much as you do.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So you get out of college. Now you're not. So you have to stop this. And then what did you do once you basically your profession? You had to change. I mean, that's pretty It's pretty traumatic.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how life works, because right at that time is when internet poker started coming about, right? You know, and so I started a little bit playing online. By the time I left my practice in 2001, I was already playing lots of poker on sites like Bloodbrokes, PokerStars, Paradise Poker, Party Poker. And then I kind of, I decided I'd try my hand at mortgage finance. But all I ended up doing was sitting in my office playing online poker all day. So, you know.
How was the early Joe Hachem in poker? Were you winning online? Did you like seem to have a knack for it right away, or was it? Were you just?
Yeah, the story goes like this. In 2004, late 2004, I had a huge downswing, and I, if I remember correctly, I lost like 30,000 USD playing stakes of 2-4 and sometimes 5-10 and 10-20 actually, and I remember losing like 10 or 11 in a row, basically aces versus kings in 1 month.
Wow.
Whether we got it in pre-flop, post-flop, I went to January and played what was then the Aussie Millions, or what is now the Aussie Millions, and I played like an absolute dog in the live games, and by the end of January I couldn't even see straight. I was playing the worst poker of my life. So I decided my befitting punishment would be that for the entire month of February I would only play 2-4 no limit, and this was mainly on Ladbrokes back then, and I played nothing outside of 2-4 no limit, and I had 28 winning days straight.
Wow.
And I won like 28,000. By the time the World Series came along that year, I'd won 160,000 straight USD.
In cash games mostly. Are you talking about?
Yeah, I wasn't playing tournaments back then online.
I'm just gonna flash over here to the Hendon Mob. Interesting enough, your first ever tournament you final tabled, first ever cash. That was August 2000 at the Crown. So it was a pot limit Omaha, matter of fact, which is interesting. I didn't realize they had pot limit Omaha tournaments back then. So is that a game that was kind of popular in Australia back then already, or
no? It was like as a cash game, but only we only played it at 25.50 or 5.10. It wasn't like not a lot of people played it. It was only a select few. That cash that you just registered, that was my first ever PLO tournament, and I went into the final table with 30% of the chips.
Wow!
I had no idea what I was doing. It was just like.
It's funny how we you splash it in, you make a final table, you get a fourth. I mean, it's a smaller, it's friendly game buy-in, but yeah, a couple final tables early. How did you? So it's super interesting that downswing, you have an upswing, and then you've never been. So 2005, was that your first time coming to Vegas or first time to the World Series?
Yeah, and it was almost by accident, because if my mate doesn't win a satellite package, then I don't make it that year. It just that kind of
butterfly
snowballed everything into like, oh, he's going. Oh, I've got to come as well.
So you go over to Vegas. I think I might have read you were in California first. I got some notes. I got my dad. He gives me like breakdown on all this stuff. You go over to the Commerce or somewhere in LA. You're playing, and someone said you're going to become the Australian, phenom, you're going to win or something, like some story along that line. I don't know if that makes sense or rings a bell, but do you remember playing in LA like before you went to Vegas? Because I guess that's natural. You fly Australia to LA, so you're there. You go check out, play a little bit there, and then head to Vegas. What did you play in LA? Were you playing cash?
So you think this is our first time to America, 4 of us, right? And then we have a 5-hour layover in LA.
Okay.
So the first thing we did is jump in a cab and go check to the bike. First thing we did, we just been on a 15-hour flight, right?
Yeah.
And we had breakfast and sat in the game. It was like a 5-5 game or something. And, oh, where are you guys from? And, you know, back then, no one knew the difference between an English accent and an Australian accent, so they all thought we were British.
Right.
And I was playing, and my mates were watching, and, oh, so you're here to win the World Series, are you? Oh, actually, I am. And that's how, yeah. But there were so many, the 2 weeks of my life that year, there were so many things that happened and that were said that were just like, I don't know, it was uncanny how the comments that people made, you know?
Just the energy was there. You were ready. It was ready. It was
Yeah,
ready
yeah.
for the taking.
Like, and going back to what I was saying before, I went on that huge upswing. So I came to Vegas. I was Superman. You know, like I was pumped. I was playing great. I was confident. I had plenty of money. It's, you know, we talk about this to people all the time about how, you know, when you come from a place of strength, it's so much easier to do what you want to do, you know. Whereas when you're coming from weakness, it's almost impossible sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're tired. If you're not rested, you're not confident, or something's in your life, distractions. I mean, I think that's now, so you see so many times. I mean, I'm guilty a lot. I'm on my phone. I'm not really present. You know, if you're dialed in, you're feeling good, you're rested, you're excited, you're confident. It's a huge deal. Yeah. And also, you know, just looking here again at the Hen and Mob, pretty cool site that tracks, you know, history, all the stuff starts blending together. But you had got a 10th place finish in a 1K. So was that, how many, did you only play one other event at the World Series?
Yeah.
A couple. Because, I mean, that's, so you're warmed up. You know, it's a big field. You basically make the final table in a 1K with 900 people, 1,500 rebuys. So really like 2,400 entry, essentially, tournament, and you bubble the final table. But, you know, that had to get your juices flowing and kind of like confident that you were able to go deep in, because you're not in Australia. A lot of those Melbourne fields and stuff, you're playing buy-ins or tournaments, it's like what, 100 guys, 50 guys, 200 guys. You're not really playing like 1,000-person tournaments in the main events.
Yeah, for sure.
So you must have felt pretty good.
I felt great. I remember sitting at the cage and standing at the cage collecting my money, and I turned around to my brother and I said, "Give me 2 weeks playing with these guys, and I'll tell you I'll show you what I can do." And the thing that stands out that I remember about that time is that coming from Australia, which is a small player pool, and, you know, not world-class players, and then going to America and playing, and I got the chance to play with some players that I'd seen on television. So, and I just learned so much just in that one event, like playing with them. It was amazing. So I thought, geez, if I can, you know, play with these guys for a bit and learn some more, God knows what I can, you know, what I'm capable of.
It's so great. So how many days rest did you have? You play the one tournament, is that right? You didn't play another one? Did you have one other one? You play the 1K, and then what date does that end? What day is it? It's like, I mean, look, it actually says right here it was July 4th. So when I guess it started, right? Yep. So that means you must have played 3 days if you made 10th, maybe day 1, day 2, day 3, and then did you literally hop in the main, or did you have a little break, or what? Because like, how did that work?
I played day 1A. So whatever day 1A started is when I played.
So you basically were fresh out of the tournament. Maybe it was the next day, even the same day, or you just hop right in, and now you're in the
wouldn't have been the same day. Maybe it was the next day.
Okay, so it must have been the next day. Pretty crazy. You go in. I mean, it's got to be so exciting because, you know, this is like the moneymaker era happens. Raymer. This is the absolute peak of poker. It's on ESPN. Your first time in Vegas. Your mates are there. Did they all? How many of them played the main? And the other ones played too. Said one won a Sunday.
Two or three of them played the main. Two of them played the main.
So they play the main, and what's going through your head? I mean, how many? Honestly, it's insane. It really is. Like the fact to win a main, it's just the coolest thing ever in poker. Obviously, and not many people are going to have a chance to do it in their lifetime. But they'll just kind of walk us through this process. It's going on 15 years, $52 million prize pool. You end up taking it down. There's 5,600 entrants. Give us a little bit of a mindset. You won a World Poker Tour event now as well. We'll talk about that the following year. I know for a big score, 2.2 million Bellagio. But how do you approach the main event, especially someone, you know, an amateur, if you will, or not playing professionally or not playing a lot of tournaments? How do you prepare to walk into that tournament? Do you look at it hand by hand, day by day? Are you like, what's your preparation look like? Do you go late? You start on time? Tell us a little bit about your main event and that one in particular.
one story that I like to tell is when I walked in day 1A and went to my table, I sat at my table and realized there were 2,000 people in the room, and I just thought to myself, what am I doing here? Like, how am I going to get through this field, right? I was lost my mind, seriously. And then within like a couple of minutes, I kind of snapped myself out of it. And I said, okay, you can shut up now. Just worry about your table. The other 1,990 have no effect on you at the moment. And just worry about this table and play your game. And that's basically the rest of the tournament. That's where my focus was, on my table and my table only. You know, I tried not to let other factors, other tables doing, who had the chip lead, you know what was going on. I tried to focus on my table every day that I played. And you know, it helped a lot. It helped a lot, made a big difference.
And I saw you bag, because it's a little bit, it's tricky with the chips, because back in the early days of the main event, you know, big well, it was going before that obviously, but of the television coverage, ESPN, you start with 10,000. So the stack size, now you get 40 or 50,000, I think even 60,000. You know, the chips are different, so it's kind of hard to equate it. But you finished, I believe, day one. I think I read, I was skiing the different chip days. You finished pretty well, like double average. I think you had 67 or something. You know, you got off to a pretty good.
I had 90,000 day one.
Day one, 90,000. So you get off to a pretty hot start. Like
that's 9x, right? That's
yeah.
big.
That's big. That's like that. So if it's 50, it's like having So you had a lot. You had a lot of chips. You got to a hot start. Did you ever was there any real adversity, or after you got a lead, did you ever get short, or were you always pretty healthy throughout the way?
No, that was my last day of fun until day 5. Yeah, until the end of day 5. So after day 1, I basically stayed around or below average for the rest of the few days, and you know, I was like in survival mode for most of the time. Then at the end of day 5, where I went from having like 15 bigs for like 6 hours, I finished the day like in top 10 in chips. They moved me to the feature table. I got aces back to back, and Bob's your uncle. It's as easy as that.
All right. So you get there, you make the final table. This was pre-November 9. That wasn't for a while after. How did that work? Once you hit the final table, was there a day off or two, or was it the next day?
No, mate. Next day, getting on the bike, get back to the table, and start playing again.
It's really crazy, because I did also see. It's kind of fun reading about some of the stuff in the history of it all. Like they said, it was, at the time at least, it was the longest main event final table ever. I think it was like 13 or 14 hours. What?
14 hours, yeah.
It's insane. And then the actual winning of it versus Danneman, which I remember the infamous 7-3 hand. I think it was 4-5-6 flop. You flop the straight, you do some chirping, some nice table talk. Danneman turns top pair. He's got a straight draw with it. He gets it in drawing dead to a chop. Norman Chad said, he turned 7-3 offsuit into 7.5 million. It was just a beautiful storyline. It only took 6 hands to win, but tell me about that 14-hour final table. You must be exhausted. Day whatever of the main, no break. The next day, show up and play till what time? I mean, it goes all night. Like, how important do you think? Were you working out in the mornings? Were you just getting sleep? What were you doing on a daily basis? Because it's even crazier than now. Now it's day 1 A, B, C, day 2A, day 2B. Day 3, and then it kind of goes, and then usually even the November 9, the break till the table, or the last, they give you a day or two to sort of decompress. But having to go through that marathon of a tournament, that's pretty tricky. You must have been pretty gassed. Were you just adrenaline, so excited the day of the final table, or were you like, wow, I'm stuck in air?
I honestly think I was the best prepared for that final table out of everybody that was there. I worked out pretty quickly that I had to get my sleep every night. No one else at that final table was sleeping. The adrenaline was too much. Mm-hmm. I got some sleeping pills and made sure that I was getting my 8 hours every night.
Yeah.
That made the world of difference to me. I could see how stressed everyone was. I was stressed as well, obviously, playing that sort of money. But I could see how stressed everyone was. But also, too, the other 8 guys weren't sleeping. I know that for a fact. No one was actually sleeping. How can you sleep? You're finishing at like 2 a.m. every night. And then by the time you fall asleep, it's 6 a.m. with the adrenaline.
Right.
You wake up 5 hours later and you've got to do it all over again. It was pretty tough. I do remember there was a very long period where I was the shortest stack at the table. And that was the most stressful time for me because any hand could have been my last hand.
Yep. Well, I remember,
and
I remember you did get it in Queen 7 of diamonds to 9s versus Aaron Cantor. I think you were short. You were first in. It's even then, it's like you're still not like you're that. It's 2-1, right? Like you're gonna win 1 out of 3, but
so
in life, and you were short.
Let's talk about that hand, right? Because that's a significant hand. That was the turnaround for me. But that hand came with a plan. I was on the button. Aaron had raised every second hand. He was just on fire, right? And I decided I'm going to take the approach of limp re-raising if he does raise and represent a big hand. Because his range of raising hands were just ridiculous. Like, it was so wide. And he made some really aggressive plays. So I limp, text calls, he raises, and I just chipped it. And then he had a good hand. He had 9s, like
right.
I ran into a good hand. And
but you knew he had some raised folds. He was playing.
Yeah. I thought, before I even put one chip in that pot, that was my plan. If he raised, I was gonna, play back in because his range of hands was so ridiculously wide, and his raising frequency was so high, and it just worked out.
Well, listen, it's hard to beat 5,600 people and not have any fortunate thing. And again, it's not like it's a 2-outer or a 1. I mean, your hand's pretty live there. He woke up with it. You had a plan. You win that hand, and then what? You got down to then you had, I think, 3-handed. You were pretty healthy. And then what was the starting heads up versus Daneman? How big you had a lead? Fairly significant.
I got 2-1 versus Steve.
Okay. So not huge, but the match went pretty quickly. It went smoothly. You win the main event. What's going through your mind? I mean, you're from Australia, first Australian winner. You come over there. I mean, it's like it's a storybook movie deal. Like, what were you thinking? And did some of your friends? Did you guys have any swaps? Did you have any action? Like, or I mean, not that it's private, but like you don't have to share. I'm just curious. Were there some of because you went over there with like 4 buddies, right? Like there are 3 guys that played.
I had 2 swaps, and they both busted before dinner break day 1.
Wow, just put it right on you. They were out partying, hanging out at the time, and then you just let you do the work.
So they were sweating pretty hard at the end.
Okay,
that's got a good payday.
That's exciting. So everyone went back pretty happy on the flight. What was the family? How old were your kids at this time? You have 4. I know 3 boys, 1 daughter who got married, I think, last year or recently, and I remember met you. And what was it? Were they? How old were they at that point? This was 15 years ago. So they were still.
They were 8 to 14.
8 to 14. That was pretty cool for them too. Like see it on TV. The kids, the boys, they're at school and their dad's over. Because it's one of those things, right? You're not going to win Wimbledon. You're not going to win a gold medal. You're not an NBA guy or a Premier League player. But that's the thing about poker. Like anyone at any time can show up and do something kind of remarkable. And so that's got to be really cool for them to hear that and be like, yeah, my dad's the world champion of poker. It is kind of ridiculous, right? Like there's guys playing for a living that they're pros, the greatest players in the world, may never even sniff the main event final table. And then you just like kind of come out, you come in your first main event and you just ship it for all the sugar, as you like to say, pass the sugar. I want to ask you about that as well. But what was that feeling like? Did you it must be top of the world. How did they get you back to Australia? You must have been running around just having a good time in Vegas. Did the family fly over? No, right? There's no time. They're there. The table's the next day, right?
Jeff, wait till you walk in the streets with young Joseph and someone stops you to ask for your autograph or a photo, and when he's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
right?
Because I know you're going to be super famous on that, right? Not that you're not now, but you're going to be even more famous, right?
Okay.
But wait till you see out of the corner of your eye the look on your son's face, the pride that he has, and you tell me what more you want in life.
That's awesome. Now, I mean, I bet, right? And especially in Australia, you're like, it's just like there's not a lot of poker players, or you're the only guy.
Forget about Australia, dude. Talk about Vegas.
Right.
They came out after won the main event. They came out 2 days later.
So.
And then the following year, when 06, 07, when everything was madness in Vegas.
Yep.
Where at that period of time, if you had a name, you couldn't go anywhere without being stopped. And like I couldn't walk through the corridor of the Rio. It took me 40 minutes to get from one end to the other.
Wow.
It was insane.
That is crazy.
It was that period where I'm sure you've had other guests on here who come from the same era as I did. Where, dude, people were just lining up. Like you'd be playing at the table and there'd be 4 rows deep, people just watching you play and waiting for you to take a photo and that. And then you're walking somewhere and your kids are with you. And then now you're watching all these people ask for photos and autographs.
Yeah, it's mental.
The look of pride on their faces, you don't need any more than that, man.
That's really cool. That's great to be able to, that they get to be there and saw that and experience that. It's a different time. It's crazy. And then tell me about like the deals at that point, because this is, like you were mentioning, it is the prime of poker. And, you know, the stars, these different sites, Party Poker, Full Tilt, these deals, they're giving patches for people to make final table. What was it like? Because you were with Stars, you got a deal. How did that go down? Did they come to you the day of the final table, the day before when it was deep? And then how did you got a deal you signed this like right on the spot, or before? Like, how did that work? Because that was like the Wild West of deals for online.
Well, there were people walking around with suitcases full of cash, basically. But I did something that no one else had ever done, and I don't think anybody else has done since. I turned every deal down.
Wow.
I turned everything down.
Okay.
I said, no, I don't want a deal.
What was the going? How did they do it back then? Out of curiosity, because I don't even remember. I know there are different prices, but was it like a tiered thing? They gave you a patch, and they said if you win it, if you get second, third, like we give you X amount.
Yeah, where this is the final table, will give you X amount of money. If you win it, we'll do a contract. And I said no to everything, because in my mind, if I win and I have no alliance to anybody, I have much more leverage.
Mm-hmm.
I was already going to guarantee $1 million, right? Because the place got $1 million. So make it another 100,000 or whatever they were offering. I thought, you know what? No, let me just play to win. If I win, then I can negotiate my own deal.
Yeah.
And that's how it worked out. I said no, because I didn't want to be. Imagine like I said yes to ultimate bet, but then I found out they were a bunch of assholes. I don't want to be with them.
Who was that? Say it again.
Ultimate bet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Imagine I had accepted something from them, right? Then I find out they're a bunch of assholes. I don't want to be with them, but yet for the next eternity, I'm patched ultimate bet. Whilst that show's being shown, it takes away from other sponsors' ability to promote me. That's how I looked at it anyway. It was my interpretation.
Okay, very cool. But you win it. You ink the deal. You go to Poker Stardom. You're crushing it. How did that? What were you doing? So you said you got in the mortgage, doing some stuff after you couldn't do chiropractor anymore. You weren't doing chiropractoring. Did that overnight turn you into a poker professional? Like if you came back from Vegas, didn't cash, what's the difference between you winning the main event? I mean, it's pretty big opposite, but you said you were playing online at your office basically, but what were you actually doing? Were you a poker pro playing online then at that time, or what were you doing for your main source of income?
It was poker.
You were playing poker at that point. So you had 4 children. You're playing online poker and playing around the crowd and stuff, and that was your main thing at that point.
Basically, yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that. Okay. So, all right. Well, so bankroll boost, a little bit of a difference. Now you got 7.5 million. You got a deal. You got the dream set up. I mean, then what? So how did things change for you? You were traveling, just looking back here at the, let's take a look here again at the Hendon Mob. So now what? I mean, basically you're with Stars, you're with the powerful company, this poker's hot. You're going around everywhere. Was it pretty much you were just on every stop, or were you staying at home, or were you literally hitting every stop on tour?
No, I traveled quite a bit. There were some events they wanted me to attend, and other events I chose to attend. And it was pretty flexible. I must admit, in those years, Stars was the most amazing company. The time that I had with them was amazing. It was basically still a small family company then. And Isai Scheinberg, he treated everyone like family.
That's what I hear. That's what everyone has the best things to say about him. Did you know Mark as well, or no?
I knew Mark, yeah. But Isai ran the company. Mark was, was there, and I had a lot of dealings with Mark. Mark was great too, but it was Isai's show. To the point, to give you an idea, the PCA was sold to us as, this is our PokerStars family event. We want your entire family to be here with you because it's a family event for us. So they flew my entire family from Australia to the PCA business class.
Wow. That's strong.
Isai, I think the difference is that Isai is a very passionate poker player, right? And when he set all this up, he surrounded himself with people who he knew from the poker world. So the passion for poker was genuine. Mm-hmm. Whereas now it's just a company that's run by executives who've got marketing degrees and accounting degrees, right?
Yeah, listen,
it's a different thing altogether, right?
Yeah, I had my stint with Stars for a while as well. I mean, I obviously they do a lot of things very well. Great software, big guarantees, big stuff. But it definitely feels like the vibe overall there's changed, and just some of the, you can see the turnover and the people from all the way to the top. Negreanu leaves. A lot of the bigger streamers have left, and it's definitely changed. And just to sort of roll on the sentiment you're talking about with Ishai, I mean, from what I know, I would say the same. Rob Young, what he's doing now, it feels sort of that kind of vibe. He loves poker, and he brings in everyone he knows in poker. He's got guys that are around him. So, it's rare because there's not a lot of companies where it's like that. And I think that's something that's important if you're going to be a poker company, right? You got to have that kind of love for the game and that kind of deal. But that's great to hear, because I've heard a lot of that. I haven't heard that. I mean, that's a crazy story. Like, that just really shows your extra mile like that. I mean, that's not normal, right? That's like, no. Totally. They could even just like flying them over on economy be like pretty freaking nice, but like the business.
I mean, I haven't met Bob, but I have seen a few interviews, and I keep up with all the stuff that's going on at Party. And you're absolutely right. It feels to me, someone who from the outside, this guy loves the game, and he is passionate about growing it. That's what we need, more of those guys in the game. Sure. To finish off that story, going with the family, right? So we land in the Bahamas, and my luggage was lost, and I had to do a photo shoot the next day. So my handler at the time called me and said, "Oh, no problem. Let's go downstairs. They've got a few stores there. Get some clothes." So we walk into Versace, right? We come out with like Versace bags, like $3,000 or $5,000 later. And as I'm walking out, I actually see my luggage on a trolley being wheeled to my to my room. And I don't say a word. I just jump in the elevator and go straight up. It was so good. Back then it was just, listen, I am so grateful and so humble to have won the World Series when I won, and been part of that golden age.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it'll come back like that. And the memories that we have, and Chris, Greg, and myself traveling through Europe, doing a pit stop in every country almost in Europe as a team, and spending so much time together. I got the chance to meet amazing people, and it was a different time. It's I don't like talking about the good old times, but that's definitely the good old times. It was just crazy.
No, I mean, there's no question that was the golden era. But I think it's TBD, but I think that's just partly a function of everything that's happened. The U.S. obviously the Black Friday USA was sort of the turning point, but there is shots of life, and obviously with Australia going dark too, right? They turned it off in the last year or two, which is pretty upsetting. Not a great sign, but. In the U.S., there was, Pennsylvania just passed. It's a major state. Michigan passed. That's where I'm from. My dad loves playing. He's there. He's very excited. Nevada, New Jersey, Delaware. You get New York, Illinois. You find a couple more, and then obviously California is like the golden state for that. You all of a sudden it's got a chance. But you're right. I don't know if it'll ever return to that height, but I think it's got some legs.
It was a time of innocence, though. You got to understand,
right.
Innocence in that it was fresh. No one knew what they were doing.
That's true.
In the poker world.
Yeah, now there's a lot of software. There's solvers. It's more intimidating.
Yeah, but no, even in poker business, no one knew what they were doing.
Okay, true.
He didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
He was just making it up as he went along. All he knew is he had this great software, and suddenly, poker's on television. Everyone wants to play, and he's got the site where everyone wants to play. Right. So they were basically, everyone was making stuff up as we went along. It was just a great time.
Yeah. No,
very fortunate to be part of it.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, listen, we've had some really nice dinners and we've done some stuff. Obviously, Antonio and you are very close. Antonio is one of my best friends. So, we've gotten to chat off the podcast and shared some great stories and times. And that was definitely the golden era. I also just remembered, I think we were on that flight. That it was the scariest moment of my life when, do you remember, I think it was me, you, Antonio, and Lauren, I believe we were going from LA to San Francisco, maybe to Bay 101 or something.
San Jose, yeah.
Yeah, San Jose. And I was on my phone before the flight and the pilot came up and I didn't hear him. Like I was just on a call or whatever. And he was like, hey guys, do you mind if I do like a really sharp off takeoff, and whatever, and I didn't know what was happening. And I remember I was facing the back, and Antonio was there, and I think you were sitting next to me, and then it was Antonio and Lauren, and we were on the jet, and the guy literally, before the plane was off the ground, it was like the hard right, and I was sure it was over. I literally, it was it. I was just light flash before my eyes stuff, and I just see Antonio laughing hysterically, and while it's happening, I'm like, because he's a sick puppy, if we were really going down, he might be laughing. That's how nuts he is. But anyway, I just remember that moment.
I think he's the sickest.
I was legitimately, that got me. That was I felt ill. But all right, so I don't want to spend the whole time because we got a lot of questions. You are actually flying to LA, I believe, today, right? Or in a few hours? Yeah. So we can't just reminisce about all of the poker stuff. I do want to hit though. The next year I see at the World Series, you end up so you win a main event, you're doing some stuff. Next summer, you come in, you get second in a shorthanded no limit. Dutch Boyd actually gets his bracelet, but I guess it was six-handed. I don't know what shorthanded means. I'm assuming that's six-handed. They used to call six-handed, which is kind of funny. Shorthanded. You get second, so, because it's one of those things I think too, right? When you win a main event, there's guys it's kind of like a chip on your shoulder almost, it's a one-hit wonder. The guy's a luck box. You hear all these things too, right? Of course, you're the champ, you win, but it's kind of like proving yourself. Let me show you guys. This isn't I'm a great player. And I think I see that, and that happens a lot. And not just the main event, but other, kind of majors or side tours, someone wins, and they kind of, it's like a double-edged sword. But you do get second, so you almost rattle off another bracelet the next year. And then you actually had, looks like another final table, and the same summer, I believe. So 2005 was at 6. You got second, a fourth.
Back final tables.
Yeah, a second, a fourth. You got third, and then there's a separate tournament, whatever, smaller one. But yeah, so pot limit, whatever. You get a couple good runs, and then all of a sudden you come into the WPT in December of the following year. So a year and you know, not, and you cash the main event as well, not to mention you go deep again the next year, which has got to be kind of fun. But then you win this tournament, a 15,000 buy-in Bellagio. I mean, you know, just like if you think the hype might not wear down a bit, what was this? This must have been another big shot of life, right? Because it's like not too many people have multiple $1 million scores. You get 2 majors. That was like when the WPT prize pools were jacked up too. So you hit a 2.2. I mean, what's going on here? Is your family on this trip? Do they come back? Like you now chalk off. You're almost going for the Triple Crown out of nowhere. You got the WPT. You got the main event. What was that? How did that compare to winning? Was that kind of exciting as well? I mean, or were you kind of like, all right,
it was amazing, man. It was amazing. Like you said, the validation part of it was just amazing. And my family landed in Vegas like day 3 of that event when we just made the money.
They came.
I was short stacked. Huh?
They were there. Your family saw that WPT.
Yeah. So my wife actually attended the final table at the end. It was amazing. After having so many close runs over the 12 months after I won the World Series, I had a lot of close runs, and you know what? Yeah, you said it right. You know, you like go back out and get back on the horse and say, yeah, listen, I could do this. You know, I'm supposed to be here. I'm not just a flash in the pan. And then it coming together at a final table where, you know, Daniel Negreanu was on the final table, and he was chip lead for most of the time, and somehow I maneuvered my way to a spot where I was chip leader with, you know, heads up play and won it. It was an amazing moment for me, you know.
That's awesome. Okay, so now you get that done. Chalk it off your list. You hit the WPT. You're on top of the world. You're traveling. How did you start finding distant cousins, relatives coming to you for staking, and were you getting blown up, asked for money? Because it's a bit of a, again, not like Vegas or some normal. You're in Australia. You're in Melbourne. It's not like the poker capital of the world by any means, but there's a lot of guys that play. What was that like being in Australia and like being at the local at the Crown? I mean, and just like, did you kind of feel? Was there a lot of that? Did people ask to get staked? Were there a lot of people asking for lending? Did you stay out of that? Because it's kind of it's such an influx of a bankroll and the stuff you're playing to just hit that huge. You got a deal as well, right? So it's not even just the money. Now you got some security. You got a Stars deal. You got other things. You got some endorsements. Things are happening. Did you just start like doing crazy investments, or were you? You know, you're more mature at this point in your life. You already have 4 kids. You're not just like a 18-year-old, 21-year-old Windsor. Like you have some experience in business. Like talk to me a little bit about investments or things you did after you won. And looking back, would you have done anything differently, or do you feel that you did exactly how you would have liked to do it?
Great question. I was very lucky. I was 39 years old when I won. I was happily married, had 4 kids, and I was happy in my life already. Okay. I think that's a really important thing for people to understand. It's like if you are already happy and stable, unless you're an absolute dickhead, it's hard to rattle that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'd also attended a seminar in my chiropractic years where they spoke about how most people who come into money quickly, whether it's inheritance, whether it's lotto wins, big wins, are broke within 5 years.
Yeah.
And the reason they broke within 5 years is because they start writing checks before they've even banked the money. And they said the first thing you should do is put the money in a bank account and own it for 12 months.
Makes sense.
You can take a little bit out, enjoy yourself.
That's interesting to say. Bill Perkins mentioned something as well in trading. What they do is when they hit, he's trading some pretty big numbers, but what they do is when you hit a big score, they make you take it out of the whatever you won, like, a stock. They make you take it, put it in the bank, and then you have the option to re-put it in, because it's like that thing. Once it's like same as online, right? You win the Sunday, party million or whatever for 150K. It's almost like play money, or it's not real. It's like, wow, like, 'cause you almost don't feel like it's yours, you earned it or deserve it. You
have to own it. You have to own
it, accept it, and then go on. 'Cause I mean, it's true. A lot of people I know in poker too, they'll come into money, they start staking guys, they start investing in everything, and it's like it's almost like they just don't feel like they should, or they don't know what to do with it. Like, that's a great, interesting way of looking at it.
It's just about ownership, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's much harder to let go of something once you own it. But
Wow.
if you don't own it,
you know what it is, Joe? Let me interrupt you. My favorite poker term that I've learned in the last 5 years, besides Phil Locke's upstuck term, I saw it on your Instagram, and I think I actually messaged you, and it actually shifted a bit on how I play and approach tournaments. The chip ownership term, which I don't know if you coined or not, but I heard it from you first.
No, I coined it. That's mine.
Beautiful. It's awesome. It's really powerful. It makes sense because it's like you said, it's a similar principle, right? You're in a tournament, you start with 30,000, let's say a WPT, you're up to 180. You get hot, you cooler someone, and you're there. And guys are at 40, 50,000, 20,000. And it's easy to just like go nuts and just keep blasting and try to force it when you got to realize like you're on like day 3 or 4 of a tournament with an average stack. And you got to, like you said, own it, reset, redeal. You don't need to be the guy forcing it. Just play your game and own those chips before you start, diving into pots and weird situations for no reason. That's a very, it's almost, I guess it's the same thing, right? It's similar in life.
It's exactly the same thing. Chip ownership came from that principle. It's exactly the same thing because it makes so much sense, right?
It really is cool. I love that term. I heard it. I messaged you. I saw that term on Instagram. I remember the video, and I texted you. I was like, man, that's awesome. Who said social media is bad? Learning stuff. We're doing stuff. All right. So okay. So you were, like you said, good time of your life. You kind of lock up the money in a way where you're not just doing silly stuff and spending and buying crazy things or whatever. You own it. You get through it. I've been to Australia. I've been to Melbourne. I've been to your house. I've been to your business, some of your business you do. I think we went to a restaurant. It was delicious. What other ventures do you have going right now that you're doing besides poker?
So I've invested in a variety of different businesses, all ranging from like advertising production houses.
Okay.
Where we've launched a burger franchise in China, which is not going so great at the moment.
Right.
I've got a couple of restaurants here. I've done a lot of property development. I've invested in my family a lot, like in my kids and my family. And I've invested in some of the stock market, I'm very careful where I invest my money and who I invest it with. The few times I've made mistakes is when I've rushed into it. We all make mistakes. You're never going to invest. You're never going to have a 100% strike rate because it's just not life. But being careful and taking my time and basing my investment on who that person is and what my vibe is about them has saved me millions. It really has.
Right.
And you can imagine people put something under your nose every day. Hey, I got a great idea. Hey, look, I'm doing this. Why don't you put some money in with this, right? I mean, even our good friend Antonio, right? Like he's a couple of times he's put stuff in front of me that have been put in front of him, and I said, no, look, I don't think that's for me,
Right.
And then one thing we didn't do together, and we both got it wrong, and we both got, but that was part of when the crash happened in 08. It was nobody's fault. It was just bad luck.
Right.
But yeah, I think I pride myself in taking my time and trusting my gut. I've saved so much money. If something doesn't sit right in my gut, I'm strong enough to walk away from the deal.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Doesn't matter what it looks like on paper. I don't care what you show me. If there's something about you who's selling me this deal that doesn't sit right, I don't want to be part of it.
Right. Well, yeah, penny saved, penny earned, that kind of deal. But also, I would say.
Sorry, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Just.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me? I can hear you, Joe. You went
Hello?
black. Yeah, I went dark for a second. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Shoot. 1 sec. All right, technical difficulties. Hold on.
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Joe? I can hear you. Shoot. Hold on, guys. Hang with us. One sec. Joe?
There you go. Got it.
All right. Sorry, I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You went dark. The screen went dark for a second, and then I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, someone rang through. I had to hang up.
No, okay. No worries. We're good. Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say, forget, we lost track of thought, talking about investments, but also I think this is something I want to talk to you about, and sort of falls in line with this. Is part of it's a lot of time too, right? Like at some point in life, I've come and I have a 10-month-old son, also named Joseph, which is great and it's fun, but it's like an investment. It takes a lot of time and work, right? It's like you got to look at it, you got to think about it, you got to do it, you got to do the paperwork, and then it has to work. It's like almost staking someone too. It's like they got to win, then you got to do the paperwork, they got to whatever. So there's a lot with it. And I want to ask you, with 4 children, how do you find? I have one, and it's great, and hopefully we'll have more. How do you balance that, like that with poker in particular, but just time in general? I just feel like having 4 children would be so hard to. I guess you got to have a great partner and some help and family and whatnot. But tell me a little bit about what that's been like in poker, with particular, because like you go play live, or you're playing a tournament, you're going away, or you're out playing for a long time. How do you balance that with family? And any advice to people out there of kids and play poker in particular?
Let me address the investment question first.
Sorry, yeah, I throw like 4 at once, but you can handle that.
That's okay. But find the people that you want to be in business with. Yeah, I don't do any of the work. I don't do any of the running around the paperwork.
Right.
I go into business with people who are skilled or have a talent or have a vision. They will present to me, and then I'll say, well, I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. That cuts down the work time for me.
Okay. Yep. Makes sense.
With family, mate, listen, first of all, you have to be blessed to have a great partner. Okay. But second of all, and the most important thing that men and women get wrong a lot, in the heyday for the first 10 years when I was traveling a lot with PokerStars, I was away every 2 weeks, right? But when I was home, I was home. My kids had 100% of my attention when I was home.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. No, you're saying to Joseph, hey, I'm going to spend Sunday afternoon with you. We're going to play. Then you're on your laptop playing online poker whilst he's playing with his toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
It doesn't work, right? So if I said we're going to the movies, or we're doing this, unless I was struck by lightning, well, that's what we did. Even till today. And one of the reasons why I slowed my traveling down is because my kids got to an age where they need me for support and guidance now, because they're making life decisions. So I spend most of my time trying to be there for them, and if you get your priorities right with your spouse, with your kids, it can all work. You just, but don't tell me you're going to go play 100 hours a week at poker, and then on your days off, you're going to play online poker as well.
Right.
I mean, dude, have some respect for your family. They need your attention. If you want their love, they need your attention. End of story.
Yeah, I think that is a great point. And this is also, my wife is Brazilian, and it's cultural, right? There's different cultural things about help and nannies, or different things, different parts of the world, I think, really view things differently in the US in particular, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, I would rather be similar to what you're saying with my son, rested, present, focused, excited, energized for those periods of time. And then, certain things where I'm not with them, or if I'm traveling, or if that we're getting help or something. And you could argue, but I think that's true, because instead of being with your children the whole time, if you're exhausted, you're unhappy, you're tired, and or you're not present, yeah, you're with your kids. Say you're stay-at-home dad, but you're at your phone and they're there, and you're just on your phone the whole day doing deals on the call. Like, it's probably worse than even someone's there only a little, like the time, but they're really there. So I think that's something I'm pretty sure that I'm guilty of at times. I mean, not like to that degree, but could be better. And I think that's something to remind myself, remind others. That's really important. But I think it's also this day and age, it's more and more difficult. And that's like, they're going to likely become an issue, right? Because I mean, I see it a lot. I see people on their phones all the time with their kids, or that, they're just not present. And I think, now it's, we're in a battle, right? It's this day and age, there's technology everywhere, everything. And you got to be really cognizant of that, or else it can become a problem. But that is great advice.
To be honest, Jeff, I think it's been an issue forever.
Fair enough. Oh, I think Joe's getting a call. You there?
Sorry.
No worries.
You there?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you again.
Yeah, when you get a call, shoot.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Hello? No, I can't hear you.
Sorry, guys.
Unbelievable.
I can hear you. What did you do? Yeah.
Come on, Jeff. Speak to me, Jeff.
I'm here. Joe, come on. We're killing it. We're about to do questions.
I don't know what happened.
The volume's even better than it was.
Hello?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you yet.
I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you. He did it last time, guys. He fixed it.
What the heck? Yeah, but I can't hear you. Oh, God.
Do what you did last time.
Yeah.
Hello?
There you go.
Joe, whatever. Listen,
all right,
if someone calls you again, you got to, whatever you just did, that's what you got to do again to fix it. You got to do whatever you're doing, because if someone calls you, it's cutting you out.
What did I just do then? I don't even know.
You got to be on a laptop, Joe. You're too popular. You can't expect not to get a phone call in a 2-hour period. That's insane. Come on, Joe. All right, guys. Listen, we're gonna take some questions here in a bit. I do want to keep going, and then we got about 40 minutes. Joe is flying to LA to try to add to his poker resume. What are some stops you just don't miss? You 5-diamond in Vegas, I think, right? The World Series, LAPC, is that sort of your guaranteed?
Yeah, that's basically, they're my guarantees.
And the Aussie Millions, right? I guess that's in your backyard. It's January. You got to go there, right?
Yeah.
What about other travel? Any other stop? Not necessarily poker, but places in the world that you've gotten to go that you really think are special and would recommend?
Mykonos.
Greece. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
My man. Mykonos. Wow.
I've been to Greece. I've been to Crete, and actually I'm going to Athens, but maybe I'll stop over there this year.
Mykonos is a different world, my friend.
Okay.
Amazing.
I'll add that. What is the pass the sugar deal, and what happened with that? Did you get a coin on that? Because that's a great line. Where did that come from? What's that about?
There's an old Greek guy that used to play with us at Crown, and he'd always say it like when he dragged the pot, pass the sugar, but with a Greek accent, right? Like, pass the sugar, And so we all picked it up. I did anyway. And that famous hand with Andy Black on day 6 or day 5.
You flopped the flush. You flopped the set.
Yeah, you're basically supposed to say pass the sugar when the pot is yours, right?
He had out.
He had top set, man, I shit myself.
You can't.
You go, what did I just do? Like, I can't believe I've already celebrated and the hand's not over. I did not put him on top set. I thought maybe he had like kings with king high flush or something, that. So pass sugar is a celebration of, just give me the fucking pot, leave me alone.
Right. But that particular case was a big moment and it wasn't over, but you did.
Wow.
Older. That would have probably, that would have stung for a long time. All right. So pass the sugar. I get it. That makes sense. And, I do want to mention this because speaking of children and poker, and I believe some of your kids, if not all your sons, play. I think a couple more so than others, right? Or they play more?
Yep.
How seriously are they playing?
Daniel, my middle son, who was out at Vegas with me last year, came 79th in the main event.
Okay.
So close, dude. He made one mistake on day 6.
Okay.
He had like double average.
Wow.
2.5 average he had at the start of day 6.
Okay.
He made one little mistake. And
Well,
just, you know what happens in poker, you make one mistake, then suddenly you can't do anything right.
Yeah, it's funny
He's
how
the best poker player of the boys. Anthony, my eldest son, is really, really good, but he's more of a tournament player. And James, my youngest son, he's the entrepreneur in the family. He plays for fun, but he's not really interested.
Okay. And I did see a quote, and just I want to make sure this is from you or this is what you're saying, talking about that your wife, you know, she did support your decision to play poker, which is great, but also that your children play poker, and you said that you believe it teaches them discipline and how to handle adversity. Tell me a little bit about some of the skill sets and reasons. You know, my dad now plays poker because I play poker. He says he wishes he had played earlier, you know, in terms of talking about real life, how people conduct themselves. You know, you do have to deal with adversity, right? You're going to lose a lot, especially in tournaments, as in not win the tournament or get knocked out, and how you handle that and how you move on and move forward. But were you always going to be okay with your kids playing poker after you won the main, or were you kind of hesitant? I don't know if I want them to play.
No, I never had any doubts about them playing poker. It was more, I wanted to give them as much information as I can so they wouldn't become gambling degenerates.
Right.
Think about the responsibility after I won the World Series. I've got 4 kids that are basically going to be raised in casinos for the next 10 years.
Right.
So I put a lot of thought into how I was going to do this. Because I don't gamble, as you know, I don't play tables. I'm not a gambler at all. So I tried to expose them to the real world of gambling.
Right.
And I always said to them, if you want to play poker, that's great. You know, we'll play together. I'll teach you how to play. We'll have fun. But I don't gamble at tables because for this reason, and I don't play the horses for this reason. I don't sports bet for this reason. And I go, look at all these people that are playing. You know, because in Vegas you can walk through the casino, right? The kids. In Australia you can't. So they're all just, they're playing against the odds. Why? And I always use the analogy: if you and I are physically equal, and we're going to run a 100-meter sprint, why would I ever give you a 5-meter head start?
Right. Wouldn't. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I've tried to get through to my kids, you know, so yeah.
Very, very cool. Okay. And then when you know, now that poker is, I guess, how often, like, do you play still someone? I mean, you're not playing online in Australia right now anymore, but in the last, even before it was stopped, did you play some online or not much? Like, do you play live or?
Nah. Online poker is, has not been of interest to me for a long time because I just can't put in the work that I need to. Like, online poker is, I think, to be successful online now, you've got to put in a lot of work into it, and I just don't have the time. You know, I don't have the energy to do it as well. So, but I still play live. You know, there's a regular home game that we play in, and then when there's visitors from overseas or interstate, we'll get up a game at Crown. So, what's
your preferred cash game nowadays? Do you like PLO more or?
Yeah, it's been PLO for a long time now.
PLO.
Yeah, but if there's a good hold'em game, I'm happy to play. You know, but
what kind of stakes PLO cash game do you like? Are you generally playing now?
I'd say the average game would be like 50-100.
Nice, and it's a pretty good game. Like, it's a good group.
That's a good size, you know.
Yeah,
that's a good size. And then if the game gets kicked up, it can go to 2-4. We've played some wild games, obviously, but you know, the way I look at it, and I hope the viewers can understand this as well, is that I don't feel the need to play at the highest stakes possible. It doesn't benefit me in any way. Okay, so if I'm playing 2-4 and I lose 100 and I win 100,000, it doesn't change my life. If I lose 100,000, I'm going to be fucking very annoyed.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right? And it's not because it changes my life. It's going to annoy the heck out of me.
Yeah. It could affect you in other ways, right? Like your other business or decisions or your overall mindset, right?
Yeah.
It could actually trigger
Yeah,
something.
like I'm not of the school where I want to play the highest I can whenever I can. I mean, like, to those who need that sort of adrenaline rush, good luck to you.
Right.
I don't think it's healthy, and I don't think it's good. Like, think about it. Of the guys who play at the highest levels, how many of them actually can really afford it?
Right. Yeah.
Really? Let's be honest. Really.
Especially now too, or they're back to there's deals or there's other things, or it's yeah, for sure. It's a bit of a. I'm with you. I agree completely. And but at the same time, you want to play a game that gets your temperature going, that you get to make some decisions, and you're going to feel like competitive. So it's like
Correct. Yeah.
You don't want to play $1, $2, but yeah, you don't need to risk Aston Martins nightly and wake up kind of in a heated sweat. So I'm with you on that. LAPC. So you'll go there. You'll catch up Antonio. You'll be out there. What other stuff do you like to do in the U.S.? Are there other cities you go to now, or do you just pretty much go when you go there? You go to Vegas, L.A., and come home. Is there any other? You go to New York?
Vegas, L.A. I would have gone to San Jose for the Bay 101, but it clashes with something else, so I'm coming back home. But generally, yeah, I do want to venture to Boston. I want to see the new casino there, and I've always wanted to visit Boston anyway. So I heard the new Wynn Casino is pretty cool. They got a good card room there as well. So,
well, you also
I mean, the East Coast. I love the East Coast as well. But it's just so far away.
Yeah, well, you got to get to Miami. You got to add that. If you want a new casino as well, they got the Guitar 1.5 billion hotel. It's pretty sweet.
That's is that finished now at the Hard Rock?
Oh yeah, I got a vlog to prove it. Opening night YouTube vlog on it. I'll send you.
Oh wow!
Yeah, check it out. It's very cool.
I'll make some time.
It's legitimate.
Great.
They put together a nice series. I don't know time of the year if it's you kind of have your poker trips book, but they have usually April. They get like 115 people consistently in the 25K. It's a nice 25K event. They have the WPT there, and good field sizes and good cash games. So yeah, Miami's good, man. You got to add that into your sometime this decade. You got to make a splash in. We'll host you, and it'll be good. All right. Well, I think since you have a flight, we have covered a lot. It's definitely other things I want to go through, but there was a big Twitter taking to the Hachem podcast here. So I do want to knock down some of the questions here as well, and then we'll kind of close out. We got a giveaway at the end, a 55 ticket we'll give away on your behalf, but we'll kind of roll through because there are a lot of interesting questions. Let's get in there. Would your life be different had you come second in the main event? Why or why not? What would that have changed, do you think, in terms of your poker or just in general?
Great question. Definitely. If I came second and then didn't get a sponsorship, then I definitely would never have gone on tour and done that. I would have come home, tried to use my money wisely back home, and probably made it back out to the World Series for the next few years and see what happens.
It's pretty like I said, I mentioned earlier, Daneman, who came in second, great guy, a lot of fun, and he took second, big score.
Love Steve.
Still doing my taxes. He's a great, he's got a great setup and loves playing. He also plays casually. To get twins recently, and yeah, shout out to Steve Daneman out there. I'm sure you guys remember him. His little note card. Remember he had his sheet on what.
Love Big Steve.
Yeah,
love Big Steve. He still reckons I own 3.5 million somehow. I don't know how.
He's still what?
He still reckons I owe him 3.5 million.
Oh man, all right. Well, that's his, that's his claim there. Yeah, so we talked about this. Some of these questions asking about the main. Someone asking, do you still play volume that you used to, or give me like a prime Joe Hachem poker player volume at 100? What are you at now?
My poker sessions last for anywhere between 6 and 8 hours maximum, cash games.
But in terms of volume, in terms of a week or a month, so you're playing less as intense, but are you at a 20 out of 100 at your peak or a 10?
Oh, I'm like a 20 out of 100, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That seems about right. What are some tips for players trying to try the live scene? What would you tell someone that's likes poker. They watch it. Maybe they're trying to get into it. They want to go play their local game. Any game selection or game types, tips, live things you could give a tip to someone getting into the game?
I think live games are a lot more fun than online and a lot easier, to be honest. So table selection is very important. And more importantly than table selection is choose what stakes you're comfortable playing at. You know, don't play in stakes that are going to make you uncomfortable, which is what I was talking about before. You know, like, I think the biggest mistake people make is they go, oh yeah, I've been playing 1-3, now I want to play 5-10. Well, if you're not ready to play 5-10 financially, you're not going to be comfortable. You're going to do your money. So my biggest tip is make sure you play at stakes that you're comfortable playing at. Great
advice. Do you remember a hand that do you have a hand in your mind or something that was just so upsetting that you had to like knock your breath out? I think I vaguely remember there was one at Bellagio or somewhere, some really sick, like 1 out or some kind of beat or something. Like, was there any hands that you just never forget or have touched you in such a spiritual moment of that you just like didn't believe was real life? I think I remember one in particular, but I honestly don't know. I remember it might have been Bellagio.
There's quite a few.
I'm not trying to start bad memory. I just want like one that you just never forget.
There's one that I mean, like, honestly, there's that the hand against Dutch Boyd where he riveted a 5. I had ace queen, he's ace 5 for the bracelet. Right, that was for the bracelet.
That's upsetting.
Right.
Yeah, that's yeah. Okay. So
that was the most what's the word I'm looking for? That had the most value on it, but the one that really stings because the way it happened was the circuit event at Bally's in like November of 05 when I was at the final table. I was chip leader. JC Chan raises. What's his name? I've just gone blank on his name. The Vietnamese guy.
Maybe I can pull up the Hendon Mob and help you out.
Oh, yeah.
2005 or 6?
Yeah, Bally's. I came 5th or something, or 4th.
Bally's or it was in 05 or 6?
05.
05?
Or maybe 06 during the middle of the year.
Okay. Trying to find it. I don't know. World Series, Tournament of Champions, 06. 5. Is it before the 5 diamond or after?
No, before.
Okay. I'm not seeing it.
I'm pretty sure it was end of 05.
It was after you won the main event.
Yeah, it was like end of 05.
Oh, yeah, here we go. 05. I got it. November, you got maybe
5th or 4th.
Okay, 5th, yeah. I see it here. There's Scotty Wen, Lee Watkinson, JC Tran, and Tang Pham.
No, there's I've forgotten his name. He plays all the big PI games too now. His wife's a dentist out of Houston.
Min Lee?
No.
Doug Lee?
Yeah, no.
All right, these are the guys. This is the only guys here at the final table, but you got 5th.
He won. He won it.
His name? Oh, yeah. His name's Tang Pham, but maybe goes by something else. But that's who it is right here, Tang Pham.
Oh, okay. So I'll remember.
Right.
So JC raises, he re-raises. I 3-bet with kings for half my stack. JC folds. He goes, I'm all in. I call, and he goes, I got Jack 10, but I got a good feeling.
Was this televised somehow? I feel like
this is televised.
Actually.
And I walked away from the table, and he just flops 2 jacks. This flops 2 jacks on me.
Wow, that was a pretty big. Yeah, this is a big. Pretty big prize for. I guess it was a 10K. Yeah, but that's man, that's weird. And he just smoked your aces. All right, so yeah, again, that's it was funny.
That one hurt.
I play a lot of poker on stream, Twitch, and a lot of tables and tournaments, and it's funny though, like when it's important, I think, to remember, because it's not just about like like these feelings where you river ace, queen, ace, five for a bracelet. There's all these things. It's so much variance. There's so much, obviously you win the main event. Like I'm sure people tell you anytime you ever want to even like think of like a bad beat or unlucky spot, people are just like, shove it.
I'm not allowed to say a word, man. I'll get jumped on straight away.
Yeah, but it is, and again, it's situations where it's math and it's a lot of ace, king, ace, queen, jacks to tens, 80-20s, 2-1s. So it's just it's an emotional game, and it does feel like it's just funny because like you could be playing a $100 tournament or a $100K or a 10,000 main event, right? And it's like the math is always the same, but it's just like it kind of the variance in the spots really matter, and it just we can all remember those bad hands, that hurt the most. But yeah, I think that's a beautiful game. It is what it is. Okay, so all right, fair enough. Those are pretty dirty. Your first WSP. Oh yeah, some hobbies. What other hobbies do you have before getting to poker and even after? Do you play any sports, music, anything you like to do?
Golf.
You golf still?
Yeah, I'm absolutely addicted.
What's your handicap?
I'm playing off about 16 at the moment, but I tore a muscle in my elbow from playing too much end of last year and haven't been able to play for 4 months. So I'm actually just I can't wait to get back out. Yeah.
I've taken some lessons. I'm trying to get into it as well because it's a great thing to socialize, have a good time, and just
so addictive, man.
It's you go with the guys, do some a poker trip, and then play some golf. It's you don't want to be the guy that can't get out there and just sits
That's right.
driving the cart. All right, cool. What would be your dream job if poker? Let's say you've never gotten to poker, couldn't do chiropractic, and you didn't play poker. What would you have done? Do you think after that, when you got back from that World Series, what would have been your passion to do?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's hard to imagine, though. I'll be honest. Like, I don't know, obviously, your situation exactly. You had a successful chiropractor business. You're now playing online poker. In 04, 05, you got 4 kids. Like, it seems like not really viable. Like, it'd be hard to, like, be playing poker in that scenario and not, again, I have no idea. I'm sure you have other stuff and other things at that point going on. But, like, it is crazy to think that I didn't realize you were actually, like, playing online poker essentially because you weren't playing live then, right? Like you would play online. There was not enough.
There was not enough action live, but right. I was playing live, but there was just not enough action. Can you excuse me for 30 seconds?
Yeah. Yes. All right, guys, hang tight. We're gonna get these questions out, and then Joe. He is actually flying to Los Angeles today, so we're gonna be knocking these down, and then we're gonna hopefully we'll maybe catch Joe on another podcast, still a good size one. We'll have multiple repeat guests. Hope you guys are enjoying. We got a special one tomorrow. Rafa Morales, one of the Brazilian all-time crushers, online legend, GM Walter. He's got some amazing stories. Won the $1 million Venom, and just a great guy, all-around player. He'll be on tomorrow. We have Eric Afriat coming up, 3-time WPT champ, just won his 3rd WPT. And plenty more guests coming up. So hope you guys are enjoying. And again, the podcasts are on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, all the platforms. And we do have a Jeff Gross Poker Twitter now with every guest, every link to the YouTube ones as well as the podcast. So let's give Joe a second here. And yeah.
All right. There?
Yes, I'm here. We're good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good.
All right, cool. Let's rattle these out. Let's get you to LA on time. We're gonna knock some more of these questions out. There are some very interesting ones. Let's take this. Nicest place. What about your favorite stop on tour? We said nice. You said Mykonos, family or just vacation loved. What's the one that you loved over the course of your whole career? The best stop for you? And I know you love LAPC, Bellagio, but what about destination, one of the stops in the countries and more exotic places?
Monte Carlo is always very special. Like it makes you feel special being there, like it's such a majestic place.
Right.
And the tournament there was always the EPT was the main event for the EPT. Very special place.
Very cool. And how many years did you go to the PCA? You went there many years, like during while you were stars?
PCA, I went there for like 7 years.
7 years in a row. Yeah, it just came to end the Bahamas. Though, have you been to Baha Mar yet or no?
No, that's on my bucket list as well. I want to do that as well. Apparently
they do a really
hotel's amazing.
It's really good. It's like a Vegas. It's basically Vegas in the Bahamas. So yeah, that's I would put that in November. If what you do, listen, when you come, stop in Miami, spend a few days here, and then you go shoot over to the Bahamas. That's the way to. That's the way to do it. All right, we'll get that chalked down. What's the longest you've gone without playing poker since you started playing poker seriously? What's the longest break you've ever had?
Wow, not very long at all. 3 weeks maybe.
3 weeks, okay.
3-4 weeks maybe.
That's
because I'm on a family holiday with no poker around.
Okay. Favorite hand in poker other than aces? What's your, you won the main with 7-3 off. Not the best starting hand. What's one that do you do anything weird like that where you get 7-3 and you just rep it, you just play it now for fun anytime? Or do you have any hands that you just love? What's your, suited connector? What's your favorite?
I have a special connection to pocket sevens and the Queen of Diamonds.
Okay. Anything in any
reason? Queen of Diamonds.
Why the Queen of
The Aaron Cantor hand when I had the Queen 7, the Queen of Diamonds, hit the Queen.
Okay.
And then the Bellagio 5 Diamond when we got it all in with my Queens against Ace Queen. And he spiked an ace on the turn. And Jack McClelland on the microphone says, Joe needs any Queen of Diamonds on the river. And boom, Queen of Diamonds hit. So
that's the one you won?
Yeah.
And so were you out, or was it a huge pot at that point, or how big?
It was a huge pot. I would have been crippled.
Wow. That's the hand I was thinking of. So I was thinking maybe it was a bad hand, but it was a good hand at Bellagio, one outer. Well, you got it in good, but had to one out with one to come. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is no, you can't complain about anything. That's to win the man. You got the 2 majors. What else do you need?
Try and stop me from complaining.
I'm not. Listen. We have the Helmuth in us, right? We think we should win every hand, everyone. I don't know. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm human. This is me. So I'm with you. I find myself, I think reading too about some of the stuff in some of your how you go through a tournament, how you look at it, your mental, strength. And that's very important, of course, now, especially with how tough everyone is and any advantages you can get. But, it really is, poker it's not for the faint of heart, because I'll say playing online, I'm playing 20, 30 tournaments when I'm streaming on a Sunday or something like that. I mean, you're just taking 2 outers, rivers, bad, 8, cooler
runners, whatever.
And then you just want to believe, like, how is this happening at times? And it just feels like the universe is conspiring against you. It's
like in that moment, your brain can't comprehend. Right. But then you step away and you think about it, and okay, it's fine. But it's just in the heat of the moment. For most of us humans, it's hard to actually comprehend. Even though we know better.
It's true. And I think, again, I can just say, when I wake up on a Sunday, some days I'm traveling or I'm flying or whatever, and I'm tired. Like, there's days when I'm like excited and I know it's going to be a great day. And there's days when I'm just like, man, I probably shouldn't be playing. And like, the energy is very powerful, because I do find when you're rested, relaxed, in a great mindset, you can handling the beats or the adversity is a lot cleaner. When you're tired and you're like angry, or you got annoyed, you got some issue that you haven't handled, or that's on your mind, or something bothering you, can really I do find, I think I do pretty well mentally with all that, but it's not, like you said, we're human, right? It's like, doesn't feel good to take a bad spot or a bad beat. And sometimes it can be a little bit challenging to deal with that. And I think that's something that the professionals and the greats really do. Like, your A game is, most people's A games are pretty similar, right? But with guys like B's B game, when they're tilted or upset, I think that's the difference. Where do people go when it's not going well? How do you see how someone handles when things aren't, up against them? It seems to be you have the game pretty mentally in check. Someone's asking about do you play sports book, bet on sports? Do you do any sports at all? If you're at a match or something, your friend or a big game, do you ever like to put a friendly sprinkle, or are you just like zero tolerance betting or anything?
Very little. I have almost zero tolerance. I'm not. For me, actually, I think it actually ruins the game for me.
Interesting.
You know, like now I've got money riding on this when I just want to enjoy the game.
I like that mindset.
It's just me. It's just me.
That's a great way to look at it.
You know, people say to me, "Oh, how can you watch the game without having an interest in it?" I go, "I'm interested in watching the game."
Yeah, it's great.
Why do I have to have money on it?
Like, perform at a high level. No, for sure. I don't bet sports myself. Listen, I'll throw something on very rarely, again, for fun, or like the Super Bowl. But I'm not looking to try to beat sports. Do you have a most memorable poker experience other than those two moments? Was there any kind of local event, or maybe your brother is very passionate about poker, or your son? Your son went deep in the main this last year. Like, is there any kind of stuff that stands out, or just like kind of cool story in poker other than those two massive victories that stand out? I mean,
I've had an incredible poker life, mate. And it's filled with great memories and lots of ups and downs. But I could share an interesting story from last year's WSOP day 2.
Okay.
I was just at the table. I witnessed this. It wasn't about me, but I witnessed it. It was one of the funniest moments that I've ever encountered.
Okay.
So we're playing day 2 of the main event, and a guy sitting next to me, cap, sunglasses, headphones, the works. He's a good old boy from Georgia, I believe. Very nice fella, and he started with a lot of chips. Anyway, we're playing through the course of the day, and he bluffs off like over half his stack at different points, just trying to bluff people off.
Okay.
And I can see he's getting really steamed. We've been chatting and stuff.
Not a good chip ownership player.
Yeah, he's just like getting really steamed, and his wife's watching behind.
Oh man.
So I just say to him, listen, buddy, just calm down, take it easy. You'll get the chips back. Don't let it get to you. I know you're a little bit upset about it. Hot under the collar. Just take it easy.
Yeah.
And his wife comes over and gives him a hug, and he says to me, "Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's great." The very next hand,
he's out the door. Tell me he's gone.
The very next hand, I'm under the gun. I'm the big blind. He limps under the gun. It goes call, button, who's a French guy, who's the tightest player at the table.
Right.
Raises it up.
Okay.
Fold. I had king, queen of spades in that hand, I remember, and I was spewing. So I fold it. He calls and goes fold. Or maybe one other caller.
Okay.
Flop comes 10, 8, 4. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Check. Button bets. The razor. My boy, all in. The other guy folds. This guy now holds his head like this. What is he going to do? And he calls. He's got kings. My buddy's got ace-3 offsuit.
Oh, no. This on a gut shot. Just rips it in.
No, not even a gut shot. 10-8-3. 10-8-4. He's got ace-3.
Okay, he's got ace high.
He goes blank ace. And he goes, yes. I go, yes. I go, you trapped in a beauty. He goes, you're right. I trapped in a beauty.
He just
and the poor French guy was just like misery. Like he's absolutely miserable.
That's crazy. Look, I mean, oh man, his wife's there behind him too. Imagine he's out, like he's like got chip leader out in a second. I'll tell you, I just thought of this too with it when you mentioned the wife or the girlfriend or someone behind watching. It does add a bit of pressure and a little extra depending on the dynamic. I remember one of my best friends, Tim Begley. I think you met him. He was in a final table of a Bahamas side event, and this guy's girlfriend, MVP. She was Tim told me she was there for 12 hours, start to finish. They're at the final table. She's there on the rail, MVP. Just giving him drinks, support. they're sitting there watching, right? And then he's like number 2 at the final table, and he gets it in like 8-handed, like 10 minutes into the final table with kings, and this other guy had aces. And in Spanish, and then the guy gets knocked out, and then he goes over to the wife, and she's basically like, "How did you not know he had aces?" Like, she's like yelling at him in Spanish, and like how like it was probably like 100,000 at first, and the guy gets 8. This poor guy, and the wife's a sweetheart, and she literally lost her shit on this guy. She was like, "Of course he had aces." Like, it's just like total meltdown. But yeah, man, poker's great. It's fun, All right. Someone asked you study poker nowadays. You're aware of PO solvers, different type of things. Do you do any kind of review, studying? Do you talk with some of your poker, friends that maybe are into it? Because like I'm in the boat too, where listen, I know that I use Raise Your Edge. I do some work, but I'm very realistic. I have a family. I do a lot of different things. I'm not spending 20 hours a week on solvers. Like I know they're out there. I know there's extra work I could do, but where do you fall in that? What kind of review, if any, do you do, or did you used to do? Or are you just natural street Antonio Esfandiari poker, just cold-blooded? And
yeah, I don't do any of that stuff, mate. The max that I do is talking to some other players, maybe reading an article, watching a video,
right,
of a hand that maybe come up that's interesting, It is difficult. It's hard. Like today, the amount of work that these kids are putting in, it's hard to keep up with them. They're amazing. But you know what? I'm happy for them to do the work, and I'll just pick up whatever I can.
Right. I'll catch a highlight on Triton, and I'll see some interesting stuff they're doing with overbets or different blockers or whatever. Like, and I'll incorporate something in my game. Yeah.
I'm very realistic as well. I always have been. Like, these guys are so good now, and the information at their fingertips is so vast. They're happy to do the work. I'm happy to pick up the bits and pieces that I can. But, yeah.
Right. Well, I want to ask you as well about, this has now been, it's been a little bit past, but the fires in Australia. I had Lingo Martin on. I saw you guys were over in Australia together, and you did some charity work and raising. I know she was very active as well. Can you give a little bit of an update and just put it in perspective on what's happened, and is it basically, where is the status of that right now, and what is the repair efforts? Because there's tons of, or do you know anyone directly affected with homes or people, or was it not in your area? Tell us a little bit about.
No. So it's all the fires were in bushland, but like there were fires all across Australia. It was the first time that I'd ever seen such nonsense. It was pretty bad. Like a few days in January in Melbourne, the city was full of smoke, and the level of pollution was higher than that of India, which is like ridiculous, right?
Right.
So it was pretty bad. We lost a lot of people. We lost over 1 billion animals. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Billion. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The irony of it all, it started raining 3 weeks ago, and it hasn't stopped. Like February for us never rains. Mm-hmm. February for us is the hottest month of the year. We've had temperatures here in the low 60s and high 50s. Never in February.
Right.
It's like getting that in July in Vegas.
Right.
You'd never think about that, right?
Yeah. It's
in July, August. So the rain has really helped control the fires, and I think most of them are now under control or out. But the devastation is still there. It's going to take a long time and a big effort to restore all the damage that's been done. And my heart goes out to all the families that were affected by this. We saw so many videos where you see the firemen like they're getting out of their trucks to start, and then having to jump back in their trucks and just drive away because the fire was moving so fast. They didn't even have time to get their hoses out. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, it's Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you see it, you hear about it, and it's hard to put in perspective. But from what it has been contained or calmed down now, and it's getting better. But
yeah, it's under control.
Lot of
thankfully
repair. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, scary stuff there for sure. Let's take some more questions. We got about what 5-10 more minutes, 5-6 minutes left. Then we're gonna do the giveaway. All right, cash or MTTs. You got your PLO cash game or tournaments. We can only play one for the rest of your life. What do you choose?
Cash
Cash games. Okay, nice. You got your
no question.
Glory. Tournament glory is checked off, and get in and out when you want. Which player is more difficult or unpredictable when facing in a live tournament? Who do you fear? Like, what is someone that you think is difficult to play against? What type of style do you feel is tough to play against when you look down at a table?
The loose, aggressive player.
Just more volatility. We're going to put more pressure and make you.
When you're up against a loose, aggressive player, you just have to buckle up.
Right.
Hope
to make a couple hands.
You have to buckle up, and sometimes you're calling down with bottom pair, ace high, and just and other times you're jamming it with a pair of eights. They're the ones that make the toughest players are the players that make you think the hardest.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And usually the loose aggressive players are the ones that do that.
Absolutely. Nope, that makes a lot of sense. Will you win the WSOP main again, or how about a bracelet? Do you feel like, are you putting enough volume in the summer?
I came close again last year, Brood. They robbed me again last year.
I saw that too. Fourth or third, fifth, fourth,
third
in the PLO. I think I did see that, right? Or Omaha High Low.
Right? Pot limit Omaha Low, yeah.
Yeah, pot limit Omaha High. 200
in the 10K.
That's was that with Schulman got that bracelet, and you were in contention. You had some good chips.
They robbed me, dude. They set the deck up to call me, and it was all over.
I'm not going to tee you up because I don't want to. We said no. You've won the two of the bigger tournaments of the. I'm not going to tee you up to.
I answered your question. I am going to win a bracelet, 100%.
You will win another one. I love it. All right, well, guys, you can follow Joe on Instagram. Let's take a look here on what are you more active on? You got take a look at some of your sons here. You got some family stuff. What do you?
Instagram mainly these days.
Instagram mainly. I see you do post some fun stuff. I did learn chip ownership on your Instagram. You do some videos and some cool stuff. So guys, make sure you give Hachem a follow there, as well as his Twitter. We're gonna take a few more, and then we're gonna let you run to LA. Let's see. Mick, give me a little bit of the future, the outlook on Australian poker. Like, is it realistic that it gets passed again for online? Like, what happened? It seems similar to the States. It was gray, and all of a sudden they just turned it off out of nowhere. Like, what is going on? You're the face of Australia poker. Can't you get in front of, put a suit on and go handle this for us or for the community? What's going on?
I've been told several times by people in the know that it's inevitable that online poker will come back. And now it's just about government change and who's going to back it or not. But because it was just stupid how we got dumped anyway. Bureaucracy, who knows, mate?
All right, but it's similar.
Australian poker is very healthy. Australian poker is very healthy. The live scene is great. It'd be great to get the online scene back, but the live scene is great and healthy.
What are guys doing? Your sons, per se, their friends. What are grinders? People playing? I mean, there's ways they can get around it, I guess, whatever. But are people playing on apps? Are people playing on the ACR and these other kind of unregulated sites? Are they finding ways to play? Are people moving that of the serious guys in Australia? Like, what is happening to a poker grinder? If you're 25, 23 years old in Australia and you want to play for a living, what do you do? What's happening in the scene?
It's all the above.
Any of that?
All the above. Yeah. Whatever they can do, the guys that are like, they're traveling overseas, living overseas, they're using, different apps and stuff to play. Yeah. Whatever works for them the best, they're all doing.
All right. 2 more questions. One, who is the one poker player, I guess, or person, but let's say poker player that has the biggest impact on your career in terms of poker? Maybe it was a guidance or advice or just the way someone you looked after or looked up to?
I remember my first poker book being TJ Cloutier's Pot Limit, No Limit Hold'em.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that from cover to back like 10 times. Because in Australia back then, we only played Limit Hold'em. And so once Pot Limit and No Limit became available, nobody really knew how to play it well.
Mm-hmm.
And even though by today's measures, that book is quite rudimentary, it gave me a lot of basic tools to use.
Okay.
You know? So yeah, as far as that, it's funny that you talk about poker mentors. When I first started playing Hold'em in a casino, and I'm sure this happens to everyone, the guys that I thought were really good and who I wanted to learn from, very quickly I realized how bad they were and that I didn't want to learn from them.
Right.
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah. And then I kind of became for a long time like a lonely island in poker. After I won the World Series, for a long time, it was the reference Lonely Island, meaning that I wasn't really talking a lot of poker with people. I was trying to just, maybe because I was just being bombarded all the time. I didn't have the energy to collaborate.
Right.
But I think that was, it's not good for your poker career. I think you should be constantly, if not studying, doing something, working, talking to other players. Because right or wrong, even if their view is totally wrong, at least it gives you a reference point to think about, you know? And, you know this for yourself. You ask 10 poker players the same question and you get 10 different answers.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
Right? You know,
Yeah.
it's there's so many factors in this great game of ours that come into play. And not any one particular way is perfect all the time. You know, so yeah.
Okay. I'm with you. And what about Australia? Like the quality of the player. I mean, Kyle Burns now. There's other player that's slipping my memory, but he's like maybe regarded as the best or one of the best. I think he just won one of the high rollers at the Aussie Millions.
Adamo?
Yeah.
Michael Adamo?
Yeah, those guys. I mean, these guys are playing at a really high level. It's really they're seems like they're just winning everything. Is there are those guys like are they well respected in Australia and sort of the faces of the young guys there?
Yeah,
now?
they're the face of the young guys of poker, and they're doing all the hard work, and they're brilliant guys. They're on tour. I mean, these guys are working their ass off. You got to think about grinding. They're everywhere, playing everything, and they're great kids, and they do Australia proud, and you know they're very talented. So yeah, they're the face of young poker in Australia for sure.
Yeah, I got
Not like this old geezer here.
No, man, you're like I said, it looks like you just came from the gym. You're in good shape. You're ready for a nice long flight over to LA. What do you do on flights that long? You like to mix it up, sleep some? You do movies? You read? What's your flight routine when you take that long trek?
Watch a movie or two, read, and then sleep, and then wake up just before we land.
I like those long flights. I don't mind them at all, man. It's comfortable. Sleep, watch a movie, get a little peace and quiet, like cell phones off, get turned off.
Peace and quiet, dude.
Yeah.
The peace and quiet where it's just nice. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Very nice. All right, let's do this giveaway, and then we'll let you run here. We're gonna be giving away a $55 ticket from Party Poker. We'll let Joe go ahead and tell me when. So how this is going to work, we're going to click here. We're going to go here. We're going to take the link with a lot of activity, a lot of questions, a lot of good engagement. Sorry we didn't get to all of them. Joe could be a future guest again. Definitely could be a repeat guest. We've had a few and we'll have more. Joe, why don't you go ahead and tell me when someone's going to win this $55 ticket from Party Poker, courtesy of you right now. You just tell me when to ship that in.
When
when someone is getting a 55 ticket, maybe they'll spin it up. Pagmillion69, this guy, I think he's won several. We'll message him, get him his ticket. Congrats to you, my friend. That is he says he's a poet. So you got a $55 ticket. Maybe you could spin that up into the dream. And Joe, leave us with one word of advice out there. What's your new decade, new deal, you goal set, anything? Like give us something. Leave everyone with the message from Joe Hachem.
Man, just be real, dude. You know, like in a world of all this social media and people trying to represent things that are bullshit. Just be real. Take your glasses off and be real. Like, don't have to worry about. It's sad. Like so many young kids are trying to be something they're not. Even people my age trying to be something they're not. Just be who you are, own it, accept it. And whoever doesn't like it, tell them to go screw themselves. Like,
right.
Let's be real. Like you know me, you know me well enough, Jeff, that I'm a friendly guy, but I don't have many friends because I don't want many friends. I'm happy with the few that I have. I love them to death. I'll die for them. They'll die for me. It's all I need. I don't have to impress the world. Be true to yourself and love yourselves.
Love yourself. It's true. It's a crazy world out there, Joe. Safe travels. Thank you for your time. And I will see you. I won't see you in LA, but I'm sure I'll see you in Vegas again. We'll have a nice dinner and catch up, man. Appreciate it so much. Really enjoyed it. And again, this will be on all different outlets, podcast outlets, and you guys can watch on YouTube. So thanks again. Safe travels. See you soon, Joe. Thank you.
Take care, mate. Thank you.
All right, guys, that's Joe Hachem, 2005 World Series of Poker main event champion, also WPT champion, legend of the game, great guy, and I hope you enjoyed. And we will have a podcast tomorrow with Rafa Morales, one of the Brazilian super crushers, and great guy as well. So many interesting people coming up. Enjoy. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Be good. Thanks again to Joe.
You're good?
All right. Yeah, ended.